The Newshour Special Edition.
Namaskar, good evening. You're watching the special edition of the Newshour and I am Swati Joshi. Top focus, of course, is Punjab. Navjot Singh Sidhu gets his way in Punjab, and a day after Amarinder Singh quit as the Punjab Chief Minister, citing humiliation at the hands of High Command and MLAs, the Congress has made Charanjit Singh Channi the new Chief Minister. A three-time MLA from Roopnagar's Chamkaur Sahib will be sworn in as Punjab's first Dalit Chief Minister at 11 a.m. tomorrow. His elevation is key given next year's polls and the fact that Dalits are around 31% of Punjab's population. Channi was part of the group that revolted against Amarinder by saying that the party will not win Punjab under Amarinder Singh. Taking a jibe at Channi, Captain Amarinder Singh tweeted that he hopes the future Chief Minister will be able to keep the border of Punjab safe. Listen in.
कल 5 बजे कांग्रेस पार्टी दी लैजिस्लेटिव पार्टी दी मीटिंग हुई है। कांग्रेस दे सारे एमएलए साहबान ने सर्बसम्मति नाल कांग्रेस पार्टी दे सारे एमएलए साहब ने जो फैसला कल 5 बजे सर्बसम्मति नाल लिया उस बारे अज असीं गवर्नर साहब नूं अपना दावा पेश किया है। गवर्नर साहब ने कल नूं 11 बजे सौं चक्कण का टाइम दिता है। कल नूं 11 बजे ओथ टेकिंग सैरेमनी होएगी। उस तो ओथ लैण तो बाद असीं साडे पार्टी दे प्रधान साडे लीडर साहबान तुहानूं सारिआं नूं संबोधन करनगे। कल 11 बजे तक तुसीं इंतजार करो। बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू।
Well, let's open this up and go across to our guests. We are joined by Tom Vadakan, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have Shehzad Poonawala, lawyer, with us on the broadcast. Ashutosh Mishra, senior journalist. Tehseen Poonawala, also a political analyst. Good evening to all of you. I first want to come to you, Tehseen. You look so happy on the screen right now. There's a wide smile on your face. Tell me the reason behind that, but also tell me, has the Congress party really managed to end the political uncertainty? Harish Rawat is saying सब कुछ ठीक है. क्या सब कुछ ठीक इसीलिए है because the Congress party somehow has managed to choose a candidate that is not at least publicly going to lead to another revolt in Punjab? Captain will be happy. Navjot Singh Sidhu will be happy thinking that he's been chosen from his camp, and maybe after 2022 he becomes the Chief Minister of Punjab. So it's just a win-win situation for the Congress party as of now, and the political message, of course, is that the first Dalit Chief Minister in the Congress party's regime.
Happy and glad because since yesterday, the so-called sources that were passing off Twitter theories as sources, everybody, and I've been on all channels including yours and telling you that this will get done by today 6:30, and everyone came up with such absurd theories. The Congress is in a decline. Look, some MLAs running off to our sources have told us to Delhi to meet Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and that MLA messaged me while I was sitting on the channel that I am sitting in the JW Marriott. Then they came up with a new theory. So all of this has been proved wrong, and what we were saying that this will be done and dusted by 6:30 today has happened. Now, two things, Swati. The great, strong leadership of Amit Shah ji and Modi ji took 3 days to announce the Gujarat Chief Minister, and that is Chanakya Niti. Here, we are still trying to make things work. That's how the narrative is built up. But I'm making a prediction, which I've been making with you since days on end. The Congress is going to cross 80 seats in Punjab. It's at 80 in the moment. It'll cross 80. It's going to do even better in Punjab. But here's another prediction. The BJP is going to get a 0 in Punjab, and the BJP is losing their Chief Minister in Uttarakhand as well. Oh, and Uttarakhand reminds me, 3 times in 4 months, the BJP changed its Chief Minister. That is called masterstroke. But the Congress handling a situation and doing a brilliant job and empowering a Dalit is called trying to make a compromise. So I rest my case. I've been proved correct, and I'm happy about that.
Okay, Mr. Tom Vadakan, please take that question and respond to the allegation, and also provide your counter to the changes that have been made in Gujarat and the changes 3 times that have been made in Uttarakhand. Why is the BJP today trying to corner the Congress party on the issue?
I did not know that my friend Senior Poonawala is an astrologer too. His predictions are very strange. I mean, I don't know where he gets this knowledge and foresight. I see the end as the beginning of the downfall. You see, essentially, they have put Charanjit Channi as a night watchman. Let me tell you something more about the Dalits. I don't need to say this in public domain. They are an intelligent lot. They know that this is an activity for 4 months, and presenting that they intend to get their votes. I don't think that works. People are intelligent lot. Mr. Poonawala Senior, you must understand that people have grown of age. The Indian citizenry, whether they are Dalits, Brahmins, or whatever caste, they are intelligent and they know whom to pick. Now, here's a chief ministerial candidate, comes with a baggage. And while Rahul Gandhi and his sister have been all strong on the cases of women's rights, this is a Me Too case where an FIR has been filed against this man. And he's today their chief minister-elect.
Okay.
So be it. I mean, this double talk doesn't help. You can run Punjab from Delhi backseat driving. He's learnt it from his mother. They had Manmohan Singh ji as the prime minister, and the backseat driving by Sonia Gandhi has been one of the tradition. And the son follows in the same footsteps. He has got no driver responsibility, no driving license. He's driving from the backseat, and no responsibility.
Okay, but someone can counter the BJP asking, wasn't Gujarat being controlled from Delhi? And if the BJP is making changes to woo the partidars in the state, it's fine. But if the Congress chooses a CM candidate who belongs to the Dalit community, you're saying this is the beginning of the end of the Congress party in Punjab.
Swati, I can qualify that. We have elected and selected a person on the basis of a long-term basis. It is not that we have a makeshift arrangement that he will be the chief minister only for 2 months or 3 months. We have said, yes, we have made promises to the community. We will stand by them. It is not a known, it's a known secret here that within 4 or 5 months, Sidhu is to take over as that is if he wins in the election. So the point here is, we take long-term decisions. We keep promises that we make to a community, and that's where we stand.
Okay.
And
what
that
the Congress
is why
party is doing, Tehseen Poonawala, is pure political opportunism. Respond.
I am grateful to Mr. Varakan, who said that after 4 months, Sidhu will take over. It means he's acknowledged my prediction that the Congress will win. Mr. Varakan, I get my...
I added one thing. I add if you win.
Sure, you added the caveat. Sure, you added the caveat.
The caveat is there, yeah.
Sure, you did. I get my astrological knowledge from a gentleman called Chanakya Amit Shah ji, who predicted to Navika ma'am that 150 seats they will get in Gujarat. He also predicted to Navika ma'am that they are sweeping West Bengal. Both the elections, we know what happened, and we also know how Gujarat was won. So I get my astrology knowledge from him. But also, Mr. Varakan, I agree with you. India should rise above caste. Please give those sermons to the Honorable Prime Minister, who keeps repeating he's an OBC Prime Minister. I think that summons should be reserved for the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Varakan.
I accept your challenge that you have learned astrology from the masters. Believe me, you need some action to back it. You can't have your prince, holidaying in Italy, Spain, and what have you. You need somebody who's to be on the ground listening to the voices. We win elections, we lose elections. But that's the confidence building exercise. But you on public domain have come here and said that BJP is going to get zero avenue. You're in your own Alice in Wonderland.
Zero.
Here are men who are on the floor
we'll see
fighting it out.
We'll see about that. We'll have to wait for the elections to take place. But what is unfolding right now? Mr. Mishra, in Punjab is that the Congress party, the High Command, has at this point in time, taken the decision of choosing a Dalit face because the Sidhu camp was rooting for it. He was also part of the delegation of ministers, remember, who in fact were part of the revolt against Captain, who expressed lack of faith in Captain Amarinder Singh. The Captain became an asset when Congress party won elections in Punjab. He became a liability soon after. Does that say a lot about the Congress party's culture? Is just a political strategy that a lot of political parties, use during or before elections?
Swati, unlike BJP, where CMs are unceremoniously sacked. I mean, let's remember Rupani didn't know till the night before that he will be asked to resign. Amarinder Singh was apprised of his non-performance and all the grievances that the MLAs had against him. He was given enough time to resign. And his actions thereafter raise questions whether he is actually committed.
Then did Mr. Harish Rawat not know about it? Because Mr. Harish Rawat said that the upcoming polls will be fought under his leadership. If the High Command had told Mr. Amarinder Singh, they had put him on notice that, you need to go now, make way for someone else, Mr. Rawat should have been kept in loop. He is the in charge, I believe.
Why? That was the respect given to Amarinder Singh. Go graciously, which he obviously hasn't done, and now he is speaking in a language which, again, I will repeat, his actions raise questions about his commitment to the welfare of Punjab. But let's remember, when he was in 2015, he had said, "Oh, if I am elected in 4 weeks, I will wipe off all this drug mafia." His commitment, what has he done to Akali Dal, all those people who were accused of sacrilege? Nothing. So that is the question. That is
And
the difference where he was told about his weaknesses.
Yes, and the Congress party tolerated all of that. The Congress party tolerated all of that, Shehzad Poonawalla. They should have asked Captain Amarinder Singh publicly to step down. Why allow this coup to be orchestrated against him? Why allow the party to be divided into two factions where Navjot Singh Sidhu publicly questions his leadership, the governance, and criticizes
my turn to
them?
speak.
Yes, Shehzad. Why allow all of this to happen? Or maybe it was a plan, part of the systematic clearance.
Well, Swati, if this is the definition of the Congress party of a graceful exit for a leader who spent 4 decades in the Congress party and came into the party at the behest of Rajiv Gandhi, I fear to wonder what is a disgraceful exit then. By the way, if Mr. Rupani was treated as badly or as in the way Mr. Amarinder Singh was, he didn't come out and say the BJP humiliated me. In fact, Captain Amarinder Singh came out and said that the Congress party has humiliated me. Point number 1. Point number 2, I would like to ask Tehseen Poonawalla, since he has mastered the art of astrology or maybe daydreaming or dreaming at 9 p.m. Is Mr. Channi going to be the chief ministerial candidate under whom you're going to fight the elections in 2022, the face of the party? And if the party, if a big IF, the party returns to power, will he be elected as appointed as the chief minister? Or is that a commitment that you're not willing to make right now? Because if you're not willing to make that commitment, it means that you're only trying to play the Dalit card and use the Dalit community or the Dalit card for a temporary stopgap arrangement. Point number 3, here you hear Tehseen and Ashutosh Mishra abuse Captain Amarinder Singh. Clearly, they do not acknowledge the work he's done for 4.5 years. And then I come to Tehseen's argument on Gujarat that सिर्फ चेहरा बदलने से सरकार का जो काम है उसका एंटी इनकम्बेंसी निपट जाएगा. This was your argument when the BJP was making changes 1 year in advance. You came and said that अरे ये इंजन में खराबी है, डिब्बे बदलने से क्या होगा? So now I ask you, 4 महीने पहले डिब्बे बदलने से क्या इंजन ठीक हो जाएगा?
Respond.
That's actually a good question, Shehzad raised. That's actually a very valid question. So I'll just take you to the survey that C voter Yashwant has done and various of the surveys that have very categorically said in Punjab that the number one anger of the people of Punjab is against Prime Minister Modi Amit Shah ji. Number 2 is against the Akalis. But they see a clear distinction between Captain Saab and the Congress. So the Congress has done what is politically working for the Congress. Number 2, to your question on how the Congress will fight the election, I am saying this now one more time. The Congress will fight this election unitedly under Sidhu, under the new CM, under Jaka Saab, under Captain Saab as Captain Saab chooses to campaign. Everyone will fight together under the leadership of Shri Rahul Gandhi ji, Srimati Priyanka Gandhi Vadra ji, and Srimati Sonia Gandhi Vadra ji. Now, I understand democracy is tough for you to understand, but that's how democracy functions.
Yeah, but Rahul and Priyanka are not going to take over as CM. I am asking you a specific question, Tehseen. You don't need to toss a coin for this, Tehseen. Swati, let me just come in. You don't need to toss a coin for this. Tehseen, I hope you don't decide your chief minister tossing a coin. But please let me know that if the Congress party wins this election under the leadership of your collective, 1 second, sir, we know who was tossing coins to take decisions. Anyways, that's not the point. Will Mr. Channi be repeated as the CM because you're empowering the Dalit community? Give me a yes or a no.
Shehzad, let me give you a gyan in constitutional democracy. In constitutional democracy, it is the elected MLAs who choose
I
the
think
chief
we have
minister,
our
as
answer.
Mr. Channi was chosen today, unlike when RSS decides
Till about 5:30, the chosen candidate was Mr. Randhawa. He thanked the MLAs. He thanked the MLAs. He said he's thanking everyone who has shown their confidence in him. Then there was this sudden twist when Mr. Channi's name came up and it was almost announced. He went to meet the governor. So MLAs क्या decide कर रहे हैं, क्या नहीं decide कर रहे हैं, वो सबको दिख रहा है.
One second, sorry, just let me put it. It will be decided by the elected MLAs.
So it wasn't the Dalit aspect for which he was chosen. He was chosen because he was convenient to the High Command. One second. You have chosen Mr. Channi and insulted the Dalit community by only making him a puppet in the hand of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. You have reduced him as a puppet.
And now he has been judged by a man.
Shehzad is the only person in this country who can use this kind of language, because you know that the person is a Dalit, he's from the SC community, so you'll call him puppet. That's fine. That shows your mindset. That shows the mindset of the BJP.
Then why not Mr. Randhawa? Then why not Mr. Randhawa? Why Mr. Channi and not Mr. Randhawa?
Dalit as the president of the party.
No, if that is not a factor, then why not Ashutosh Mishra? Why not Mr. Randhawa? And why Mr. Channi?
As the Prime Minister of
Because
India.
the MLAs elected him.
That's what I'm saying. Till about 5:30, Mr. Randhawa was thanking all the MLAs.
Until some time ago, somebody was in a lead in an election, then somebody else won. MLAs elected and the High Command gave into it. That is
Tom Vadakkan wants to come in. Tom
Nothing.
Vadakkan, the MLAs have elected Mr. Channi. What is anyone else's problem? Why are we looking at the caste equation right now? A consensus was built on Mr. Channi's name.
What kind of consensus are you talking about, Swati? There was a blank decision to pass it on to the palace at 10 Janpath to take a decision. And the decision came from the Rahul Gandhi camp. And this has nothing to do with any consensus. If you take an honest voting of the MLAs, you will realize that the support is lacking. But the statement by the Chief Minister when he came out was that there was a consensus. What kind of consensus are we talking about? They left the decision entirely to 10 Janpath and a decision was taken. This is what they talk about practicing democracy. I mean, constitutional democracy was being preached by senior Mr. Poonawalla to his younger brother. But the reality, Mr. Junior Poonawalla knows more about law than perhaps many other people do. So I don't want to get into an argument on that because it's the situation between two brothers. But the point is well taken. That law as it stands is a one-way traffic for the Congress party, and they say it's a constitutional democracy. What constitutional democracy are we talking about? Decisions are taken by 10 Janpath and Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. Then the decision comes down to these young people who are MLAs and tell them, look, you sign on the dotted line. And then here's the Chief Minister. And the point is, he's rightly pointed out, Junior Poonawalla has rightly pointed out that this is a stopgap arrangement. The whole world and its uncle knows about it.
And a stopgap arrangement that does not hurt anyone.
Sorry, when they remove a Dalit Chief Minister to have Mr. Sidhu there, are larger questions that is in public domain.
Right, Mr. Mishra, also this choice at this point in time so that it does not hurt anyone, because if the job would have directly been given to Navjot Singh Sidhu, as political observers and pundits are saying, then the Congress party would have seen several factions, not just one Sidhu camp and one Captain camp. So to placate Amarinder Singh, although he says he's been humiliated, they have chosen Mr. Channi. So nobody is going to oppose the election of a Dalit face as the Chief Minister of the state. Mr. Mishra.
Swati, it is hurting BJP a lot. Can't you see the pain in what Mr. Vadakkan is saying? He cannot stand the fact that a Dalit has been amicably chosen by Congress MLAs. He has to, in everything, use it as an excuse to abuse Rahul Gandhi for all his frustrations. Let us be clear that in every party, it's ultimately the MLAs who
Ashutosh Mishra, today after Mr. Channi met the governor, he came out, he spoke to the media and he said, I have told the governor about the consensus that was built last evening at 5 p.m. itself. If the consensus on his name was built at 5 p.m. last evening itself, why was Mr. Randhawa thanking everyone? Why was Mr. Randhawa seeking time to meet the governor? And then he said, no, it's fine. I am not upset. I am okay with the High Command's decision. What was the confusion about? If the MLAs had already selected Mr. Channi?
You know, the confusion is being created by people who are unhappy with Mr. Channi being elected.
And one of them was Mr. Randhawa himself.
Unable to digest the fact that our issue has been resolved. And unlike Gujarat, Uttarakhand, where they had to face embarrassment, and in UP, let's remember they tried to remove Yogi Adityanath in UP, couldn't do it. And now the Amit Shah and Modi have to keep praising Yogi for all the
How is this not an embarrassment? No, but tell me something. How is this not an embarrassment when Tehseen Poonawalla, the chief minister, of course now he's a former chief minister, when Captain Amarinder resigns, steps down and says, I was humiliated. When he comes to the national capital, does not find an audience, does not get an audience with the Gandhis. He raises the issue of Sidhu, constantly targeting him, questioning his leadership, and says this is going to send out a wrong message. That none of that was being addressed. How is this not an embarrassment?
But I think factually, Captain Saab did get an audience with Mrs. Gandhi. That's to put the record straight. And I'm not going to mislead your viewers by saying that there wasn't fraction between Captain Saab, Sidhu, and that is a matter of fact. But please understand one thing: everybody's got this wrong. This wasn't some decision taken because Captain Saab was humiliated. 79 out of 80 MLAs voted to remove Captain Saab. That vote was in public domain. They all knew, and I quoted Yashwant, the voter, and various other surveys, said that we cannot win if Captain Saab is the chief minister. Now, as a political party, any political party has a right to make its decision. Just as BJP did in Uttarakhand, it's another matter they're losing Uttarakhand. Just like they did in Gujarat, another matter they're losing Gujarat. But Congress has managed to turn the tide and they're winning Punjab. So let me tell you, 0 for the BJP in Punjab, 80 plus for the Congress in Punjab, and the Congress is winning Uttarakhand as well.
Tom Voda can respond to that. Yes, go ahead.
He talks about a tide which is going to turn into a tsunami. A state that they were probably going to make a return, has been ruined for them. It was only one Captain Amarinder they were up against. Now there's a huge factionalism that's taking its wing. And you watch what is going to happening. ये तो अभी शुरुआत है. ड्रामा पर्दा तो खुला नहीं है. ड्रामा अभी शुरुआत है. इनको 11 बजे स्वेरिंग इन होने दो. उसके बाद आप देख लीजिएगा पूनावाला जी कि क्या ड्रामा होने वाला है.
क्या एंटिसिपेट कर रहे हैं आप? टॉम वडक्कर, what are you anticipating?
Can I make a prediction? Can I make a second prediction?
नहीं. मैं prediction नहीं करता हूँ. मैं logical conclusions पर पहुंचा हूँ. रंधावा जी को सिक्योरिटी तक दिया गया.
Absolutely. That's what he went on thanking all the MLAs. He was speaking to the media persons continuously, saying he's so happy that the MLAs have chosen him and that he's seeking time from the governor, Tehseen Poonawalla.
And he talked about the appointment. And here was the new chief minister. Now this, I think, is what Junior Poonawalla said. This is like, the coins that they put up in, that they toss, and they decide who's the chief minister without thinking.
Interestingly,
now Sidhu is in a difficult situation. How can he remove a Dalit chief minister and come as a Jat Sikh? It's going to be a very embarrassing situation. He has a lot of explanation to do to the Dalit community. I think it is a sad day for the community that this kind of a management is being done, and they are not. They don't. They can't. As if they don't understand all these games. Congress has played this for 70 years, and I think it's time to call.
Mr. Poonawalla wants to counter you.
Thank you, Tom G. For the record, less WhatsApp, more facts. What are the facts? Both Sidhu and Randhawa ji actually supported the new chief minister. That's that. Rest is WhatsApp. But but this is what Tom G said. He said tomorrow 12 o'clock there'll be the drama will start after the swearing in. I'll tell you what the drama is. Tomorrow 12:30 onwards, there will be CBI, ED, income tax. The three allied partners of the BJP in action. Then there'll be stories planted that, there is suddenly a new terror threat. Then there'll be stories planted that something has happened 25 years ago for which they will blame Nehru and they'll blame Mr. Chiva. So please, we know what is going to happen.
Tell me something, Shehzad Poonawalla. What option did the MLAs have? What option does Mr. Randhawa today have? If he is not going to congratulate the chief minister, what else is he going to do? Shehzad, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Look, both Mr. Amarinder Singh and Mr. Randhawa, yes, I can. Both Mr. Amarinder Singh and Mr. Randhawa have in a sense met the same fate, that the High Command has taken a decision only on the basis of what suits the parivar hit, not what suits the party hit, and therefore performers have been sidelined. Those who are patriots have been sidelined, and those who are yes men, darbaris, have been given a position. Now Tehseen can be extremely happy about his momentary empowerment of the Dalit community, but he will not answer the question that I've asked him, that will you continue to make Mr. Channi the Chief Minister? The answer Tehseen also can't answer, because it is above his pay grade. That's an answer that only Rahul Gandhi can answer, and therefore this party has been reduced to the whims and fancies of one family. I don't know what Tehseen is celebrating about.
Okay,
Just
quick
like-
counter.
just
I
like,
just
you know,
I
the
just
Congress
have a couple of
used to
seconds. Ashutosh Mishra wants to come in. Quick counter, sir.
The funny thing here is that the same people who are praising the High Command for choosing Amarinder Singh now suddenly are faulting it for choosing Channi. You have to realize that it's the team leader who makes the choices, and if it was right in choosing Amarinder Singh at that time, it's right at choosing Channi this time, and Channi will be their best.
Amarinder Singh campaigned and
was
won the
tracking them
election.
down.
Amarinder Singh campaigned and won the election for Congress,
So
not
did
the other
Rahul
way around.
Gandhi.
And he lost the election earlier also twice. So let's be clear on that. And he has been in Akali Dal also. Let's
We
not
know
forget
Rahul
that.
Gandhi's influence in Amethi, leave alone Punjab.
And you know Rahul Gandhi defeated Modi and Amit Shah in 2018 in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Karnataka. Let's remember that. Let's not forget that. You have to remember it was.
He should have defeated
Okay,
them in
anyways, how things are going to
Amethi.
pan out for the Congress
should have
party
defeated
after
them
this
in Amethi.
decision, and whether Mr. Channi will continue to be the face post-elections, if at all Congress party wins the Punjab elections. That's all. I think we'll have to wait for all of that to unfold. But Tehseen Poonawalla has made some predictions. So on the day of election, after that, we'll go back to Tehseen Poonawalla and see if his predictions come true. Thank you very much, Tehseen Poonawalla, Shehzad Poonawalla, Ashutosh Mishra, and Mr. Tom Vadakan for joining us.